Hi, guys. Just a quick editor's note before we get started with the episode. This is Brian, and my audio has not been the best the last couple weeks. Our audio equipment is at Andy's house, and obviously I haven't been over there for a few months. So I have a new microphone ordered, and hopefully it will be here sometime soon, so that way I sound a little bit better. But thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and enjoy the episode. Howdy!
Hello! Welcome to Desk Pop.
Welcome! Today on Desk Pop, we're talking about the Animal Crossing update that allows swimming and diving. We're talking about the new Smash Brothers character, Min Min. We're talking about YouTube drama, racism.
Question mark?
We're talking about the Jenna Marbles video and also the Shane Dawson video where they both apologize and whether we feel like either of those or both of those were genuine. This is Desk Pop.
Well, hello, Brian.
Howdy.
Welcome to Desk Pop.
Welcome. It's nice to see you. As you can see, I've taken some time away from my very busy vacation to record this podcast. I'm on the beach right now, sipping a Mai Tai.
That Pikachu isn't looking too good. Hasn't moved in a while.
He's fine. He's doing all right.
He's a little camera shy.
Yeah, I gotta cover him up.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Hmm?
Is that a mural back there too? What is that?
I think it's just a Pikachu. Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. There is a mural behind me over that yonder. And then there's what I suspect to be a shovel of that sandcastle Pokemon that I bet if you threw an apple at it, it would turn into him. Hello, it's your pal Brian again. I am here to tell you that I lost part of the footage while editing, and Andy was talking about how he's playing The Last of Us 2, Part 2. So, that hopefully gives you some context for this part.
That will satisfy me at this point in the story right now. Like, I don't know how they can resolve what they have going on. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
Are you happy with where it is so far? Like, have you enjoyed playing it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's been so good that my expectations at the end are just very high because I'm just like, man, like these twists and turns.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so
you're not on board with the like general outcry there was with like the hate from the game. I didn't really follow that. I just knew that there was a general movement.
I know that a huge chunk of the people who are saying negative things about the game are the toxic gamer dude bro, like don't put politics in my game.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, if you played the first one, it's like
someone just existing. Just politics.
Yeah. And also like DLC for the first game featured Ellie with a female romance interest. So like this isn't news for anybody.
Sure. Is it because of the is there a trans character in the game? I know that was a rumor.
One of the characters, spoiler alert, I guess. One of the characters in the game is trans, and then another thing that a lot of people are pissed off about is one of the playable characters is a very ripped woman.
Gotcha.
She is, yeah. One of the first scenes of the game, she like fucking lifts somebody up with like one hand, helping someone up, and it's like, holy shit. She fucking works out. Damn, good for her. But yeah, so and it sucks because the toxicity there is kind of making any valid criticism hard to find of the game.
Sure.
Because it's like I can't tell if, but it seems like the overwhelming majority of the hate for that game is strictly due to just really toxic
I know The Last of Us is like a highly critically acclaimed game, and I kind of missed out on it. I don't think I had a PS4 at the time. And
it was the last huge game to come out on PS3, and then it came a port of it came out on PS4 several months after its launch.
I never had a PS3, and I only got a PS4 like 3 years ago. Like not that long ago. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a PS4, so
yeah, it's kind of spooky. I don't know if you might have to watch it.
Yeah, maybe I should do that.
I don't know if you could make it through by yourself.
Sure. I want to like train myself to be a little better about horror games. I don't think I can. I don't know. I like horror movies, but horror games, there's some aspect about having to do the things that I'm too empathetic, and it like, ugh. Mm-hmm. But
I'm steadily getting better. I can play third person horror games way more easily than I can first person.
Yeah, first person is
exploit like over the shoulder, look around corners and stuff. But first person's like, nah, I'm not ready for that yet.
I'll have to give something a shot. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Is there anything else going on?
I've always been a casual with a lot of the mainstream YouTubers or a lot of like the bigger personalities, and obviously we're gonna get into some Shane Dawson related material a little later.
Yeah.
But I once again had to jump into some various crash course history on Shane Dawson so that I could be informed on the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
So that has also been taking up my time. So learning about Shane Dawson and playing Last of Us 2, that's really it for me.
Fun.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, today I caught the series finale or season finale. I get those mixed up every time I say them. Season finale for the Harley Quinn animated show, which was good. I meant to watch today. I haven't seen it yet, and maybe we'll watch it to talk about next week or something. But the BMO movie came out. The BMO Adventure Time movie.
I started it.
Oh, did you?
I started it, but fell asleep. I had to watch because I never finished Adventure Time. I was like, I think 3 or 4 seasons away from finishing it.
Yeah.
And I had to watch a series recap so I could be caught up just in case. I didn't know how vital the newer shorts were, chronologically.
Yeah.
And so I watched a timeline of Adventure Time events, and holy shit.
Yeah.
That the timeline there is so in depth, but then also really kind of there are some parts in it that's kind of fucked up.
If you want to go ahead and we can dive into the next part of this podcast.
Okay. Yeah, let me take off my flip flops and get ready to run up. I waited 15 minutes after eating. I'm ready to dive into some Nintendo updates.
Good, because I am in the Nintendo verse at the beach, and we have some Animal Crossing news. They are adding in for the free summer update, July 3rd, adding in swimming to the game and diving as well, and it looks really cute. I'm very excited. It looks like playing the game. I've been like, man, it'd be cool to like swim, but like you never think that like a game is going to implement that later.
That seems like too big of a change. Like if someone told me, "Oh, you're going to be able to swim in Animal Crossing," I'd be like, that would insinuate so many other smaller mechanics of like finding things.
I'd imagine it's planned. Yeah, it was probably planned when the game came out, but yeah.
Sure, yeah. So the fact that they added this, I love it, and this is a big enough update for me to jump back in, pun intended, to Animal Crossing, because I had been kind of off it for a while, but this is crazy. There's so much stuff. You can find new collectibles in there. There's whole new areas of the museum. They upgraded a bunch of aquarium stuff where you can add coral and other aquatic life to it.
Yeah.
There are special villagers. Gulliver has a new thing. I love this, and it blows my mind that Animal Crossing is obviously making a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But at this point, this is usually the part of the game cycle where it gets an update and everyone goes, "Oh, okay." Like it's like we've added 2 new shirts and another Turkey Day thing, or not Turkey Day, the Easter Bunny.
Another Turkey Day.
We've added a Easter egg hunt. But this is crazy. Yeah. I love this. I can't wait to see what else they add.
Yeah, I actually, so I had my birthday on June 16th, so like 2 weeks ago-ish, And I played, and I had this little fun birthday celebration in my town, and like one of my villagers, as soon as I stepped out of my house, they went and got me and like had a little surprise party, and like it was fun. There's a pinata. It was very like much more than I would have expected for just like a, you know, I thought I would get a gift in the mail and like people would tell me something on like on my birthday, but they had a whole party for me. It was great. It made me feel really nice. I was like, I love this game. So this is the reality I want to live in. I want to get out of fucking Earth and move to whatever
Animal Crossing land.
Yeah.
What did you name your island?
Valencia, because I had oranges.
Valencia.
Yeah. Do you get it?
Okay.
It's a type of orange.
No. No.
Valencia is a type of orange.
Okay. I'm not up to snuff on my.
What'd you name your island?
What did I name? Oh, I named it Kokomo.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Actually, I knew that. I've seen it. I've seen the.
Yeah.
We're best friends on Animal Crossing.
Aw.
Not in real life.
Yeah. No. Never. I'm always, whenever I play games like that where there's no canon name for your location or your character, it used to be so hard for me to get past that and name it something original, because I'm like, whatever name I'm gonna come up with is gonna sound really dumb. Like I wish there was like a canon like Pokemon, like the trainer's name is Red and all this other I remember in New Leaf I named my town New Leaf. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to name it something stupid, so I'll name it after the game.
Well, that's fun. You're a very imaginative child. But yeah, I'm very excited. It's cool. Since the game has been out, there's been Earth Day event, an
Easter event,
there's like the summer event that's coming. They
added Red Ship with the counterfeit art.
Yeah, there was a wedding event in June. That's coming to a close. It's just really cool. It's really nice to see that this game that like came out right when the world needed it most is like still continuing to.
It's still there.
Yeah, still continuing to be that perfect utopia that people can go live for just a minute. So I don't know. I love it. We also got a Smash Brothers character announcement, which was very exciting. I never played ARMS. Did you?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I really liked it. That's another game that sadly the torch didn't burn for very long, but it got regular updates when it came out, and they added a bunch of new characters as it went on for free, which are all the character designs are really strong. But it's a good game. I hope it at least gets a sequel, or we get more representation through a spinoff in the future. But
yeah,
we knew it was going to be an ARMS character. Min Min seemed to be the top candidate, and
I don't know. As someone who wasn't a fan, I was shocked that it wasn't the Spring Boy. Is that his name?
Oh, Springman.
Springman.
Yeah.
I was shocked because I had thought that he was like the poster character for this game, and come to find out in the direct, they talk about it. They consider all of the ARMS characters the main character, which is pretty cool. You know. Yeah. There's not one main character.
Yeah, there's not really a story in ARMS, and also like there was this huge like I think either there was a character tournament or who's your favorite character poll, and Min Min ended up winning like the tournament, and Min Min was kind of like the Min Min and Twintel are the two like big fan favorite ARMS characters. Twintel was an add-on character, so there's no rules, but if you want to try to force rules and reasoning and to the idea of Smash Brothers, it's like maybe because she's an add-on character, she's lesser known, whereas Min Min was base game. But I'm glad Min Min's in here. That's really cool. The gameplay, like, obviously she's not holding a sword or whatever, so it's like it looks like Simon Belmont on steroids. The fucking range of her attacks, I don't know. Like,
that's gonna be interesting.
I know that Dragon Quest Hero was like, I don't think he's in competitive anymore. I don't pay attention to competitive very much, but I remember he was X'd out, and I don't know how they're gonna deal with Min Min. Like, how can you balance that?
Well, I mean, I think they made it pretty clear, like, she's shit at close range. Like, at long range, she excels, But when you get someone who's brawly and really up close, like, she's done.
But that's really cool. I also really like the trailer. Captain Falcon is pretty prominent in a lot of the Smash Brothers trailers, and he's basically a Smash Brothers character as opposed to like an F-Zero. There are more Smash Brothers entries now than F-Zero entries.
Yeah.
And he kind of turns into, he's just like some casual guy. Like in this one, he's just eating a bowl of ramen, like whatever. I thought that was neat. And I'm also excited to see more Nintendo characters in my Nintendo fighting game. Because, seeing Sonic and Ryu and Cloud and Bayonetta and Persona 5 Joker and Banjo and Kazooie, that's great. And that brings me joy. But I'd also like to see some other characters from this company's arsenal of iconic characters come into this. So I'm glad that the door is still open and we're getting more Nintendo rep. This is another Smash Pack of 5.
Okay.
Or I think it's either 5 or 6 new characters, but this is the first of the new set.
Okay.
So we still have 4 or 5 new characters that are going to be added, and they left the door open on whether or not they will add a third challenger pack. So they might throw in a third one.
I wonder if we'll see one of the main Pokemon from Sword and Shield, because that seems to be the trend. Like, I know we have a lot of Pokemon in the game already, but that seems to be the trend of like adding one from the mainline game, one starter. I don't know. Do you think we'll see Inteleon?
I want a Pokemon rep. I don't know who I would want out of the 3 starters. I'm not the biggest fan of the 3 starter evolutions, but I think what is it? Toxicity?
Oh, that would be a cool one, yeah.
That I've been seeing that one around on suggestion lists, and I thought that would be really neat having that. So that would be my vote, because I think
I want a Zacian sword dog.
having a Pokemon that's not a fire, grass, or water type would be neat.
Because we have obviously Pokemon Trainer, who has, I don't necessarily count those as separate Pokemon. Pokemon Trainer is the character, and then you have Squirtle, you have Ivysaur, and you have Charizard. But then, in addition to that, I know there's Incineroar is in the game.
You got Pichu, Pikachu.
Yeah. Jigglypuff.
Mewtwo. Lucario,
yeah. Who else is in there?
Which reminds me, it'd be neat if they included type advantages in Smash somehow. And they
it'd be interesting.
One could null out another.
Oh, Greninja. So actually, it would be interesting because we had Greninja, and then we had Incineroar, so we had water, and then we had fire. So it makes sense.
And Charizard.
Yeah, I don't count that as like a, because we have one from every type in that one character, or one from those 3 types. So I would say this might be. I was thinking Inteleon might make the most sense because he has like a gun and like, I don't know. I feel like any of the 3 could work, but because we already have,
I think the grass type might be the best for.
I was thinking Incineroar is already so bulky they wouldn't choose another really bulky character, but maybe. I mean, maybe we'll see.
I'm thinking strictly of type representation.
No,
it could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I'm curious to see what they'll have, if there will be any other Nintendo characters added into this.
I definitely want to see Paper Mario in here.
Yeah, that would make sense with this game coming out. Yeah,
that's the last one on my dream team. Like, if they could add this, I would be happy because I got what I wanted with.
Will you be happy with any Paper Mario character, or do you just want Paper Mario?
I think the likelihood of them adding any other Paper Mario character other than him,
I don't know. I don't know.
Sure, I guess.
So I just want this on camera. So when they release Bowser, the like flapping little square, you're gonna be like, all right, that's fine.
It's Paper Mario. Any Paper Mario representation.
That's the representation I want.
So, please, can I please get foldable Bowser? That's just what we all needed. Can we please add Dr. Luigi to the roster?
Please.
Thank you.
I would love Luigi from Luigi's Mansion. Ugh. I mean, I feel like they should just overhaul his character to make him cooler, to make him more like the The Luigi from Luigi's Mansion? I don't know.
There's, I think it was Cosmonaut Variety Hour. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a YouTuber that I really enjoy. They do a lot of video essays about movies and sometimes games. But he talked about, maybe it was him, I'm not sure. I saw somewhere that it sucks how the newer characters get very specific movesets that draw back to their like robust history of games, but the base characters for Smash Brothers are also vanilla. Like,
are they scared to touch them because they're worried people will be upset because the character they like will be changed?
Because like if Mario had never been added to Smash Brothers until just now, you know his moveset would be way more creative. Like Mario of all characters, why doesn't Mario do at least a little bit of damage to other players by jumping on them?
Yeah.
You know, there's like this very rich arsenal of things that they can draw from, but they can't because those fighting characters have been around for so long.
Yeah.
That
it would be cool to see them just say like, hey, we're overhauling them. If you want to play that character that way, then you can keep playing Melee, because I'm sure you will. So
yeah, it'd just be cool if like some of the older characters had move sets that are creative as a newer, because like Luigi, like having the Poltergust incorporated for more moves than just his grab. That'd be so cool. Or like using Guigi for something.
A Guigi, or like using like a flashlight and like as a stun or something. Or like, I feel like there's a lot there you could do, but I don't know.
They kind of did something with Link. Since there's 3 Links, you have more. Young Link could be the melee Link. And
don't get me started.
Toon Link could be the other Link, and they changed Link's moveset to be more Breath of the Wild, which is neat. But we need more. We need more of that.
Yeah.
I guess moving on to the huge
Ooh.
You know,
the
I'm looking forward and also dreading talking about this, because I could talk about Nintendo stuff with you all day, Brian.
We have. We will. But not today.
But yeah, so I'll go ahead and let you possess more anecdotal knowledge on this than I do. So
I have been around in the YouTube sphere partaking in Jenna Marbles and Shane Dawson's content for a long time. It was, I don't know the precise day, but a couple days ago, Jenna Marbles released a video statement. Jenna released this video and she's like, hey, people are saying all this stuff like, wow, I'm glad you're unproblematic. I'm glad we can stand you still. Like, all these other people we're having to cancel right now, like given the current cultural climate, and people rightly saying like, hey, we're not going to stand for racism anymore, which I agree with. So Jenna tried to get out in front of that and say like, hey, I have mistakes in my past as well, that I have been, not very kind to other people. I had some racist comments. She played on screen she showed for people to watch. They have been privated for a long time, but she showed a video of her in a wig portraying Nicki Minaj, which people call blackface, which that could be a whole other conversation, which, sure, don't portray black people. But, she said like, hey, I did this. She did a rap song where she, had a lyric about that was very insensitive to Asian people. And she's like, showed that on camera as well. And she basically was like, I feel really awful right now. I don't want people to feel bad by the stuff I make. I want people to feel good from the content I make. I privated not only those videos, but also videos where, maybe I target someone's, gender in a video, and, maybe that would be uncomfortable for someone. So she really went out of her way to kind of deep clean and be like, hey, like, if it's not acceptable by today's standards, or it might hurt someone's feelings, let me go ahead and just, private, get rid of it. And, I think a lot of people were upset, but she was apologizing to, the communities that she hurt. She apologized. And I thought it was very sincere. I don't know your take on it, but I thought it was a very sincere apology.
I'm not familiar enough with her content, so it's difficult for me to distinguish the difference between a YouTuber apology video being genuine or not, because they're all so like they are solely in control of what the viewers see. They're in the editing bay, so it's like harder.
Given her track record among other YouTubers, she is one of the like cleanest, like A+. Yeah. Like
I've watched her past content after watching the apology video, and having done, because right off the bat, and I mean, I think Oscar worthy, like this is the best apology ever, like what, like after watching Shane's, which we'll talk about in a second.
Sure.
But looking at her past videos, you can kind of see how she actually does show some remorse in this apology video. It's pretty straightforward. She does a good job at addressing it and then showing you the context. And again, like a lot of the offensive things that she's done in the past, and a lot of people pointed this out on social media, is just like, you know, it's not any transgressions against me. Like, I can't accept that. I'm not the person to accept that apology.
Just to be clear, like anyone listening or watching, that's not for us to accept either. Like, just so you know, that's not what we're saying at all. So,
yeah. So from that being said, it seemed legit. It seemed like she was remorseful. I think, you know, taunting people at the end with like, "Oh, I might leave forever," was a bit much, because it's like, you're not gonna leave. You're gonna keep doing YouTube. Like it sucks right now,
maybe,
but you're gonna drop off the face of the earth for like 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll be back.
She might have already been making like, and what I theorize is she might have already been making plans to stop posting, or like she might have already, because she's been on YouTube since 2006, I believe, you know, since its inception.
She's like one of the original
content
creators.
Like 14, almost 15 years. I feel like she might, at this point, be deciding to maybe do something else. I'm sure she has enough money that she'll be fine. She might be looking to do something else with her life. And so I feel like this was maybe a catalyst for that. Maybe she was like, hey, you know what? I heard a lot of people. She did say, which I kind of keyed it on, that she is, and I don't want to move past this because this is not what we really want to talk about. We want to talk about Shane, but she did say she was done with this channel, and that was very specific language. So it could mean that she's
a rebrand, anyways.
It could mean that she's just deciding to be like, hey, you know, all this old stuff, like, I'm distancing. I'm making a whole new channel. Her boyfriend is he has his own channel as well that's very successful, so I'm sure I don't know what that means for him.
Whatever endeavor she pursues after this, video wise, people are going to
she'll be fine. She'll be just fine. I'm not upset for her, but I do feel like, you know, it's what she did was, I think, is great, because it's showing people like, hey, if you decide to and obviously she hasn't committed a lot of I guess racial injustice. I don't know what the word would be. She hasn't committed a lot of these like sins, these really egregious moments, and so it's maybe easier for her to be like, hey, let me come out ahead of it and just like apologize in advance and, you know, say I'm sorry. And whereas other people who have a lot more history, it's harder for them to do that, or they're weighing the pros and cons of like, oh, if I just stay silent, like, will that, you know,
if I apologize for it, then I'm bringing all this stuff to light, and then people are going to hate me. So I need to,
Whereas hers are, you know, maybe not as bad, you know, comparatively as some other people. So, but I think it's good. I think she came out ahead of everything. And I think, to me, that shows, like, I think in her content, she's made very actionable change. It's nowhere near what her old content was. And so I think that's a very clear cut, like, yes, that was you can say it was the sign of the times or whatever. It was more culturally acceptable for, you know, people were more tolerant to that at the time. And I think now she's made a lot of change for the better. And it's good to see that. So someone who maybe hasn't made great changes, the other person, Shane Dawson, which, to be clear, before we start talking, I have gone ahead and I don't follow Shane Dawson. I don't follow Jeffree Star anymore. I did enjoy both of their content, and I'm honestly a little ashamed of that now, which is is something I'm working through. Like how I'm like looking back, I'm like, man, does that make me a bad person? You know, to have enjoyed stuff like that. I know, but that's kind of what's been going through my mind.
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm like,
I'm glad. Well, it sucks that it's happening to you, but
yeah.
It
doesn't matter to me, but nothing bad has happened to me. I'm kind of ethically thinking about the content I consume now.
I get it because we talked a little bit about this before we started the episode, but I kind of went through the same process with like Louis C.K. And PewDiePie. They're two prominent figures that I enjoy their content a lot. I reference their content a lot. And I still do, just muscle memory. I'll like make a joke from one of the things that they've put out or whatever. And they, you know, time passes and things come out about these people, and you know, I had to distance myself from that and, you know, unsubscribe and stop following that because more things come. And it just feels weird. You feel complicit to that behavior because you like.
Yep, that's what I'm feeling for sure.
You supported it, so it's like I played a role in this.
At that time, I was not being actively like anti-racist as I'm trying to be now.
Yeah.
So it feels bad that I'm like, you know, if anyone that I know and love was ever hurt by that makes me really sad to think that I was like, it didn't bother me. You know what I mean? And I know it was, I hate the phrase, it was a different time. It obviously was in some ways, but it also was only in terms of Shane Dawson's scandals and, you know, his blackface videos. I mean, they were only like, you know, 10, maybe 15 years old. You know, that's not, we knew blackface was bad. Factor. Yeah.
Because I mean, the audience that was, a lot of the people that I know who kind of started watching things like that, and kind of the birth of YouTube anyways, were all like really edgy teenagers who like, you know, a lot of the people that I grew up with, including me, like, you know, oh, someone's not looking during class in 8th grade, I'm going to draw a bunch of dicks and swastikas on their notes.
Oh, I didn't do
funny,
that.
Right?
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, because you think, oh, that's okay. And then all of the YouTubers or people you watch are also doing jokes like that and pushing the line on, you know, what is and isn't okay, to where it normalizes it. And then you grow up with it. And then you're like, oh, hey, all this is fine because it's been around for so long.
I know for a fact.
It's harder to come to terms with that.
I know for a fact I've seen like videos where he's portrayed a black person, and it didn't bother me as much as it should have. And that's what I'm like, you know, not to make myself a victim, because I'm not at all, but it just, that's what I'm working through in terms of like, I want to be a better person. And was I a bad person? Or, you know, and I know like, obviously he's the one that's making this stuff. And I think, let's talk about his apology. So he basically says like, hey, I've got to apologize. I think his was called Taking Accountability. I don't remember what Jenna's video was, but basically he was saying, you know, it, you know, making videos with blackface on, and, you know, this is all stuff that he, I don't know. It was such bullshit to me. And that is so disappointing to me. I think I would feel a lot differently, I think, if it felt genuine in some capacity, but it just felt like you know, hey, I'm being like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I was shitty. And
it looks like, hey, I'm scared of getting caught.
Sure.
I'm scared of this negatively impacting my career, so I'm going to say something.
He said he was inspired by Jenna. Yeah, he said he was inspired by Jenna's video, and
which is even worse too, because like his own guilt for your action should inspire something like that, as opposed to like, well, this other person in my career field had this really successful apology video. Let me do, you know,
that's kind of the sense I was getting of like, if he mentioned Jenna, and it felt like very much like, okay, if I mention Jenna, then like there will be more sympathy towards me, because clearly she's trying to be a better person. And I will say Shane's content, he doesn't post stuff like that now, but you and I have already we've talked about this because we wanted to make sure it was a more responsible conversation today. But he has a history of all of it. Like there are so many blackface jokes. He says the N word. He has so many pedophilia jokes, so many bestiality jokes. So and for a long time, I just had thought like, oh, he's just a like shock comic. Like that's just what he does. Like, he's just doing something that's very edgy and like getting attention. And it was working for him for like, I want people to understand this. It wasn't just, oh, he did a bad thing and then people were upset and then moved on. He was actively being rewarded because people were subscribing to his channel. People were finding him funny. Yeah. That was an active reward to him. And in that period of time where he was doing these things, like he kept doing blackface and he kept doing these characters and he kept making awful jokes, and he was being rewarded for that. And now we're at the point where we're looking back, and saying like, hey, it's never been okay, and what you've done is not all right. And even though you've tried to apologize about it before, like it's just too little too late. Like you have all this stuff out in the world, and at a certain point people can't ignore what kind of person that makes you, whether it be a racist or, any type of bigoted individual. Like we can't ignore it anymore.
I think so I've never been a huge fan of him in the first place. So it's a lot easier for me to say this.
Sure.
But looking at the plethora of just diverse, horrible jokes that he's made, like there's like joke after joke after joke, video after video of him doing all these and saying horrible things.
Yeah.
I'll never really give him a chance now, and I'll never really jump onto his content or really try to sympathize. But even if I were to try to sympathize with his actions, his apology video essentially watered down to, hey, I was kind of depressed and I had a lot of anxiety, and this is why I acted out and did all these things.
Yeah.
Which isn't justification. It's using mental health conditions as a crutch or as an excuse to do these things that, a lot of other people have the same issues. Are easily don't do.
Let me tell you the reason I identified with him the most. We have a lot of very similar, like I'm anxious all the time. I'm gay. Oh, I feel the same way about my weight all the time. There's a lot that made us very similar. And I think that's why it made it easy to ignore all the other stuff. And I don't do shit like that. I don't say the N word. I don't wear blackface. You know what I mean? I've never done that.
Use that as an excuse.
I've never done that.
Yeah. So him doing that automatically makes him look even worse than he already does. Instead of making taking the time and really walking us through each of these instances and honestly like talking about why he did it and how he feels about it now and why it's bad and why people shouldn't do that. Instead, he, condenses it all, throws it into the, oh, I have anxiety bag.
Yeah.
And then walks off. And there's also, because it's like there's so much, this is like the perfect storm of, there's so much video evidence.
Yeah.
But there's a clip of him making fun of, I think, James Charles' apology video for drama back then or something. He's bantering with someone. He was like, yeah, no, you want to make the video not too long, not too short, like manipulate people in a certain way where like 20 minutes is a good amount of time for an apology video. And his apology video is like 20 minutes. And it's a clip of him like jokingly walking through that process. And then for him to like, it's, I don't think, who knows if it was calculated or not actually, but like the fact that exists, it's like, there's not a lot that I could see that would make this video come across as genuine on any front at all.
That was disappointing. And I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm looking at it through the wrong lens. Maybe I should be looking at it in the way that's like, you know what? Had he made a genuine apology, I might have been able to see past more stuff. You know, I'm like, maybe this is a good thing that I feel like it's not genuine and can see clearly that, you know, he's not someone that's necessarily a good person, you know, and I'm not going to reward that. I'm not going to continue to watch or subscribe or follow in any capacity because he's not a good person. He's not someone that makes content that uplifts people or makes people feel good, or, you know, he does entertain people, but at what cost, you know? I think we're coming to terms with. But yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of stuff where I was like, originally the some of the jokes I was like, well, the blackface is awful, but like this other joke isn't so bad. And I think I'm kind of at the point after you and I talked earlier where I'm like, no, it's all bad. You know, it's all bad. You know, it all comes from the same place, and I will no longer co-sign it. You know,
yeah, because again, like if you even, because I think you're. I would have considered you like a Shane Dawson fan. Like
I would have considered myself that until like 2 days ago.
When his videos come out, like you're usually like, oh hey, do you want to talk about it? Or you know, that's kind of like a point of overlap with a lot of people that I know. That
I was enjoying the
Shane Dawson content.
I was enjoying the new content that he was putting out. I enjoyed, and I feel bad now because I enjoyed the Jeffree Star content, even though I knew what kind of person Jeffree Star was. You know, that's nothing new. That's something that's been, I just saw past it, and you know, it's taken the entire world to be like, hey, like you can't do that. You know, we have to, you know, tell everyone Black Lives Matter, and they obviously do. And I've always believed that, but now I'm like, I actually have to create. I have to create change in my own life to reflect that, you know.
It's like the same mentality with like the whole Chick-fil-A thing, where it's like, yeah, Chick-fil-A is doing wrong, but like, oh my god, the sandwiches are so good, so I have to keep going, you know, like at some point you got.
I will say, and it's sad because like that analogy too, like when I think about that, like especially because they're anti-gay, like that hurts me so much when I see people like say that comment specifically, like not even just people like eating Chick-fil-A. I'm like, that's fine. But whenever they say like, oh, it's so good, I'm like, that makes me feel like shit, you know? And to know that I may have been doing that to other people this whole time, like black people, like that feels awful, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's just, it sucks, but I think it's like a good sign.
Wake up call. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to acknowledge that and kind of use that as an opportunity to evolve.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Shane Dawson's not going to suffer from this. He's going to be fine.
No. He'll still have a base of fans for sure.
Yeah, his diehard fan base are going to just Keemstar the situation, bunker down, and create this very small cult on the internet.
Yeah.
That the only difference is they're not going to be in the spotlight anymore. They're going to scurry off to the Shane Dawson corner.
Sure.
And we're going to hear from him occasionally when he collabs with another big YouTuber, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, that was another thing in his apology video. He kind of did the same thing Jenna did, where he was like, I might not be on... What did he say? He's like, I'm not going to be on this channel anymore. Did he say the same thing? Or I got the vibe he wasn't leaving.
He's never going to fucking leave. Like, no
YouTube is
way.
Synonymous with his name. You know,
he's so hyperbolic in his document. This is why I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's a huge YouTuber and he's always out in public and stuff, but he always acts like, oh my god, I'm so nervous, which is like, it's fine, but it seems like he plays it up so much.
He probably does. He probably does. Yeah.
And it just like, I'm just like, oh my fucking god. It's like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
The content wasn't for me, but him playing up I think I might leave forever, and like, oh my god, is just like, no, you're not. Like, you're just making a scene.
I think he took that note straight from Jenna's book. Like he saw that in her video and he was like, oh, that's a great thing to say. Like, Yeah, I'll say I don't know, because he's not one that's known to post videos very quickly anyway. So
he makes documentaries. Like, he of all people should totally know how to like take accountability for his actions. Like, honestly, like,
well, there's scandals within that as well. There's scandals within like the documentaries he was making. Was it Logan or Jake Paul? That's the bad one. I think they're both bad, but did he do a Logan Paul documentary?
I think it was Jake Paul.
Was it Jake Paul?
I'm pretty sure it was Jake Paul.
Anyway, he kind of like he downplayed some like racist shit in that I read, and then I know like obviously he's been working with Jeffree Star this whole time, and when money's involved, things get more difficult for people to stand up for what is right, and I kind of have a feeling like I think they're both from the same tree, you know what I mean? It's like. Yeah. When one bad apple is there, it's there's other bad apples, but it just working with Jeffree Star this whole time, given who Jeffree Star is, and like I don't know, it's all shit, it's all awful, and
what I've taken away from this, and I know little. I can't say this enough because this is me like desperately trying to keep catch up so I can acquire as much information so I could then talk about it. But my biggest takeaway from this whole thing is whatever drama that was being thrown out at James Charles from the collaboration of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson.
Yeah.
It like I now like feel like that must have sucked to be like some young YouTuber like recently hit like
to be 20 years old at the time, I believe. 20 years old.
He was 17.
Was he 17 at the time? Because
I think he was fucking 17.
He just turned 21 like a couple days ago or something, or a week ago or something. I don't know. I saw a video where he turned 21.
Could have been younger.
Yeah. Anyway,
but torn to shreds by these juggernauts.
Not just 2, 3. Tati Westbrook as well, and she's a giant. Oh, yeah. She's a juggernaut as well. So Jeffree Star and Shane, and they all like, regardless of who orchestrated it or whose idea it was or who just like jumped onto it, it's all so awful. And like to know that he was dealing with that, and he's not without scandal himself. Like, just to be clear, he's not he's not only like just a victim and nothing else. He famously was like, oh my God, am I going to get Ebola when I go to Africa? And people were like, wow, that's a really shitty thing to say. Like, a couple other things like that.
Well, see, like the things like that, like, I mean, obviously we're in a different time now where there are way more people can be vocal about things like this and it's taken seriously now. I think there's more of a platform saying, hey, this is fucked up, as opposed to before where people who used to say that were originally in the minority and were just like disregarded.
And I don't sense a pattern of racist behavior from him necessarily, where I do see that.
This could be things like that could just be chalked to like he's new to having a big platform like that. He doesn't understand his words hold way more weight as an internet celebrity, as opposed to like a normal person who could say something like that and just say, hey, that was kind of fucked up. I'm sorry.
Or no one say anything about it at all and just continue on, and then just later be like, man, that would be so awful if someone saw that. Like, I think about that to myself. I'm like, I have some like, not anything racist, but just like shitty stuff that like I've either made a video or like so cringy and disgusting. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I ever like had just a modicum of fame and like people saw this stuff and like, or like look through my old Instagram captions and like,
Well, so a while, like I think forever and a half ago, I had made a YouTube video, and it had been on my channel for a while or whatever, and occasionally like I would throw my channel name out there like, oh, hey, check it out or whatever, and then like years later someone new subscribed and I was like, what are you doing here, because I don't upkeep that channel anymore, and they disliked one of my videos, and I was like, why would you dislike this video? And I got really self-conscious about it because I had like 4 subscribers, so I was like, why would one person dislike this? I rewatched it and I was like, man, like there were a couple of comments I made in this video that were like not very cool. So I took the video down, and I like after self-reflect, I was like, man, that was kind of like, I need to be more aware of any like, I don't know if microaggression is the right term, but just like, you know, you obviously don't mean to say something like that could hurt people, and then you do. But like, again, like this is like something with like 4 subscribers. If you have like billions of subscribers or whatever, you're like this new person, I'm sure it's infinitely harder to like, oh, oops, like that's messed up. Let me take this off, because millions of people have seen it.
Yeah. You're scrutinized to a different degree. And I think, I don't know, it comes down to, I want to live in a world where people can find redemption. Ultimately, like that is what I want. But at the same time, where we are at right now, especially in this cultural movement with the steam that Black Lives Matter movement has picked up, you have to look at patterns of behavior, and you have to see, like, you know, I want to believe people can be redeemed. I don't want them to be like Jenna Marbles for what she's done. I can't obviously accept any apology for that, but comparatively to other people, I feel like she didn't do as much, you know, and I know maybe that's not a fair thing to say. That's just kind of how I feel viewing, like looking at other people and what, like, who's still out there just doing shit. And like, she's like, you know, I'm really sorry I hurt you. And I've made change in my life. And like, if people make change, if people recognize they were shitty, I want to believe in a world where they can come back, or
they can make a change in their actions.
Sure.
They come back and be seen as a positive role model for change.
Exactly.
Saying, hey, I was a scummy person and I've changed. You saw me change, and now I'm a positive role model for people.
Yep.
As opposed to this, like,
you're canceled forever. Goodbye.
The cancel culture has such a negative, negative image associated with it now, whereas originally it seemed to have a very positive intention. But now it's being framed as like, oh, well, I can't address my mistakes because I'll get canceled.
Yeah.
I think showing like someone changing for the better, and it's kind of tricky because you can't dive into someone's heart or their brain and know if they've changed for the better.
And that's the weird thing about parasocial relationships, is we will only know what people show us, you know?
Yeah. But it would be great if someone was rewarded for changing publicly, even though we shouldn't expect a reward for doing the right thing.
Yeah, I don't know if rewarded is the right term. I feel like they should be... I want to find redemption with them. I want them to be able to say, like, I did a lot of awful things, and now I am doing better. You know, that's what I want. And I feel like...
Like Danny Trejo. He went to prison or something, right? And now he's like a great Hollywood actor. And
did he go to prison for something bad, or like just?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was like in a gang or something. And he, you know, be like Danny Trejo. Be a you know,
maybe he was arrested, not justifiably, but that's a whole.
You know, that'd be we can do a deep dive into it, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know.
Anyway, so the James Charles stuff, like, he's not without his faults, but I don't believe he deserved to be ganged up on by those 3.
What I was saying is, I think I'm a lot more, if he came out and did an apology for something, I would be a lot more like understanding, as opposed to someone who's been around for so long.
I think that's fair.
Had so much time to, you know.
I think that's fair. And he is also a lot younger. He really, truly is a lot younger than the 3 people that came after him. And I just, it's crazy to look now, and there's still stuff that's developing. And I think the Late to the Party episode we're going to do a little rundown of the timeline of events. So if you're curious to hear about that, go click that video, or that, you know.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's check
it out on our...
I don't believe Shane. I am no longer subscribing to anything he does. I'm not consuming his content, and I am very sorry that I did for so long, you know.
Yeah. It sucks, but you know, sometimes you gotta make cuts like that in order to make the world a better place.
Yep.
So
I am coming to terms with that, and I am cutting out anyone who is not just racist, but just not trying to be anti-racist, not trying to be a better person. You know, I don't need you around. You know.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, and I'm talking to you, Andy.
It's like, this is our last episode of this pod.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This was an interesting conversation. I think.
We definitely dived into some more serious territory than we typically do, but it's pop culture related and it's relevant right now, and also I think it's obviously important to talk about.
It's worth talking about for sure. I think definitely keep the conversation going in terms of, you know, Black Lives Matter and who's worth your time as well.
Yeah, and hopefully we were worth your time if you've made it to the end of this episode. If you have any thoughts on any of the things we talked about, please drop a comment in our in the comment area down below, or reach out to us at DeskPopcast on all social media platforms. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts on our
Actually,
thoughts.
That'll also be down there.
Yeah.
Over there.
I don't know where you're pointing, but Bryan's pointing in various directions. Anyways, thanks again for making it to the end of this. Please consider liking and subscribing.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you on the next episode of Desk Pop.
See you later, my friend.